What is the reason that you play Epic 7? The most common answer is the art style. Epic 7 is a game with high quality animations, and its main appeal lies in how smoothly the game runs. Unlike several gacha JRPG games out there on the market, Epic 7 does not use chibis in combat and instead offers epic, breathtaking animations. See what I did there? I used epic in the name. Anyways, we could discuss the gameplay all we want, but today's topic is centered around the art style of Epic 7. For a game that strives to offer a storyline, a game that relies heavily on the art style and its animation, does Epic 7 care about art parallels? Does Epic 7 pay attention to details before releasing a character? Or is it a coincidence that some characters happen to look good? All that we will answer in today's video. I am totally not stalling content so that the battle running in the background finishes, because I know once I do transition to another battle, someone's gonna ask in the comment, hey, did this battle end? And yes, it does end. Just give it half a second. Before the video starts, I'm a nobody. I refuse to use my channel name because it's not final, okay? Forever Life, that is some cheesy ass name. Anyways, the battle is over. Let's get on with the video. Side note, this video does contain a lot of spoilers. A story always begins with a main character, and unfortunately, Ross doesn't have much going for him. He does not fall into the category of a generic anime main character, but that is all that can be said about him. At a quick glance, you notice he is holding a sword. And that's about it, to be honest. You cannot guess which element is tied to him, unlike the main heroine, Mercedes, which at a glance, you can immediately identify that she is a fire element unit. Another character shown very early into the story is Either, which you can immediately identify as a water unit thanks to his color palette, and the in-game character model reflects it immediately. Unlike Ross. Seriously, what is this? When you look at Sirmia, you are immediately able to identify that she is a fire unit, not just from her clothes, not just from her hair color, not just from her sword that is on literal fire, mind you. Her attacks reflect the nature of not just her element, but her personality as a whole. I mean, who doesn't like a phoenix going into a dragon? With an attack named All In, you know this character is a gambler, alright? Take for example Ron. It does not take 2 seconds for it to register in your mind that he is an ice element unit. His animations once again reflect the type of character Ron is.
How should we do this? I'll show you the path to victory. I'll take down anyone who interferes with me. Whether you win or lose, is determined in an instant. Alright, show me what you can do.
Another example is Pavel, a man with a few words, yet his colors match his corresponding element, and his animations directly convey that Pavel is in fact an earth element unit.
I'll hunt you down. Target down. Mission complete.
As a general statement, a character's color palette does not have to match its corresponding element. The perfect candidate for this is Bellona. Despite the fact she wears purple-blue clothes, her fan is a first indicator that she uses wind, and that corresponds directly with her attacks that assert and confirm that she is an earth element unit.
I'm excited. Entertain me, please. I will do my best. Ta! I present to you the greatest magic.
Another example is Vivian. In similar regards to Bellona, her blue colors might give off the vibe that she is a water unit. However, her skills tell a different story. Using a mixture of wind, thunder, and earth, she truly deserves to be called a earth element mage. On a different note, Mort is a unique case of art style. The reflection of flames give off the vibe he might be a fire unit, yet the blue glow of his lance supported by his blue clothes could be an indication that he is an ice unit. Unlike all the units up to this point who have skill icons that clearly identify their elements, Mort's skills have a blue color palette, which could truly mean anything, honestly. Mort's first skill have shards of ice shown after making impact with the enemy, and his second skill has a blue color, but it's never explicitly mentioned that his blue color is in fact ice. Mort's third skill shows a different story, however. By transforming into a dragon, he stomps his enemies, showing that he can rapture the earth along his path. Although his art initially made you think he might be a fire element, or an ice element to be honest, you just can't picture him as a fire element anymore, and after witnessing his gameplay, it is difficult to view him as an ice element, making Mort's design low-key one of the best. Mort simply asserts dominance by how he can mislead you, then force you to see him his way. Honestly, on a tier list, Mort is probably one of the top 5. But whenever I look at Ross, I am sorely disappointed. Nothing speaks or reflects his personality, he's just very bland with nothing to offer. And honestly, with his third skill, what does he shoot? Lightning? Question mark? If he's a fire element, why are all his skill icons blue? How come it never registered in my head that Ross is a fire element, despite the fact he is supposed to be the main character of the game? The first main antagonist of the story is Vildred, and immediately you can identify that their color palettes compared to Ross are opposite to one another. Psych! Arbiter Vildred immediately throws that out of the table, matching Ross's white clothes, and while they aren't identical, you can start to notice similarities in their clothes, and if you stare too hard, you start to realize, had it not been for Arbiter Vildred's colors, had it not been for the fact he uses an ominous color palette, had it not been for his pose, you probably would have missed the point that he is the antagonist of the story. For reference, I said antagonist. That is because when you look at the likes of Kayron, Specter Tenebria, and especially Archdemon Mercedes, those are the true villains of episode 1, and their art style completely shows that. Our second antagonist emerges in episode 2, Strays, truly a breathtaking handsome man. His colors, alongside the aura of his sword, not to mention the galaxy cape. If I was in a battlefield and I saw Strays as my enemy, I'd drop my weapon and surrender right then and there. His voice acting is top tier. His idle animation when he summons the swords adds that element of fear. Oh shit! It's Strays' turn. His third skill animation when you see that sword extend and the background sets, you know someone is getting one shot. The pose on his second skill before he wreaks havoc upon his enemies, you know that must have hurt. All in all, Strays is top tier. Words cannot describe how perfect he is. Now whether this was intentional or not, there is a parallel in their lines.
Your ruin fast approaches.
Can you hear the approaching ruin? All that's left is ruin.
One detail that is definitely intentional are the eyes that shine on their chests. Arbiter Vildred has it much smaller because he only absorbed a small fraction of the Archdemon's power. Meanwhile, Strays has it at a much larger and more intense to represent that he has more power. Now let's look at their sidekicks. Vildred has Cigarette, a woman who is clearly dangerous, and she isn't shy to kill you. As a matter of fact, she counters Vildred in PvP. Strays' sidekick on the other hand, what the f. Fortunately for Ross, his specialty change finally makes him look unique, and you can tell his element at a glance. They captured his idle pose to represent that of a true main character. I don't know how they revived him, but damn, I never want to see that awful old Ross ever again. Epic 7 really does surprise me with how it can go from super frickin' generic to downright unique. While some choices may seem odd, some just completely baffle me. Ignore the fact that Landy shoots literal rockets and is classified as an Earth unit. Ignore the fact that Cez's arm is literally oozing out death, yet he isn't a dark element. Ignore the fact that Corrin literally uses lightning and is still classified as a water unit. Taiyo is stupid to say the least. In what part of his kit do you understand that he is an ice element? He is not afraid to show you literal flames in his animations. He's dressed in all red. And the name of his second skill baffles me. Its name is Azure Wave of the Oceans. Where is that shown in his kit? Is it in his skirt? I really don't get it. The only explanation to all this is a disaster happening in PvP. If Taiyo was truly meant to be a counter to Hwayoung, then goddammit Smilegate, you have made the worst counter I have ever seen. Hwayoung doesn't even have a non-offensive skill, you cucks. Anyways, for once I thought we were finally getting a unique Fire Warrior. As if Jacko and Hwayoung didn't completely overlap Surmia's kit, I really was hopeful. If you want to use the argument that they released 2 Fire Warriors in a similar time frame, I don't see that argument being used for Pyrrha and Drawn. I'll pretend that Zahak and Dreameru didn't release around the same time too. The take of this video. Smilegate did care about its art style and art parallels, but as time goes on, one artist after the other has been leaving Smilegate, which definitely creates an odd vibe between certain characters. Do they care today? I don't know. You tell me. Why is Taiyo not a fire unit?